A very good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to the online trading webinar with myself, Giles Coughlin. Good to have you on board. Yeah, good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Looking forward to this session and got a few things to cover. It's one of those days when you've got lots going on and there's not much going on. It's a tricky sort of day, but we can unpick it all and there are some opportunities for us to be looking at, which is good. Okay, so what we're looking at today. Now, the first thing to mention is that the market is trading positively from yesterday, and we're opening up above yesterday's value area. Let's have a look. Here we go. So you can see we're pushing above yesterday's value area high, and we've been building up at that level. So markets are poised bullishly. We've had some
remarks from EU Trade Commissioner says we are in a constant conversations with the US looking at tariff lines and cooperation on fields like aviation, semiconductor and steel. This does fit in with reports seen yesterday.
We've had strong buying from the middle of the morning in the European session, and we've just moved up to the TPO. So looking at the fundamental bias, we've sort of poised positively. We've broken up above the value area high. And so what we're looking for essentially is moves down to that pivot point. We're going to watch from buyers for down there in the E-mini. Look for buyers down to this point of control around this 2826 region. And if we can break above these highs, we're going to look for a buying continuation if broken. Okay, so it's a very important day. The rhythm has been positive. And then we can look for a fade if we have a false break of this high here. So you can see here, we have on the 15-minute, that price breaking out and then breaking lower. So we've had those sellers have now trapped those buyers there. So that is a potential fading opportunity. If we see, enough confirmation and we start to see price moving lower. At the moment, cumulative delta is pushing positive from the overnight session. So the bias is still up to the upside. So we don't want to short this, but just in the very near term, we can just see that some sellers have trapped. Have they trapped them? Let's have a look. Yeah, they've just trapped those buyers. So we're having an attempt at a false breakout. Get above here, onto the next value area higher, up to the 5950. Get to here, then look for bias from pullback. If we get down here, strong support for buying, but it's a sell bias if and when it's broken. So that's what we're looking for today. Important areas. Have a look on the hourly chart. You can see we're up at the value area high for the week, the developing one, and we got a previous value area high sitting in that 5950 region. So 5950 is a very important area. We've also got all these sellers here, trapped. So this becomes a very strong support zone around this 5930, 5910. Very important area on the 15-minute chart. Important area breaking above here, super important. And then it's super important how we react around the daily VWAP if we get lower. And also I want to see how price is responding up here, up to that sort of 5940. That will be really important to look at how price reacts in response to that. At the moment, just note we're seeing this divergence going on. So you can see, okay, price is trying to pull back even as the cumulative delta is trying to push higher. And if we look at on the tick chart, we can see that cumulative delta is pushing up, on balance volume is pushing up, volume's pushing up. So at the moment, we don't want to short this for sure, because even though we've got some 15-minute buyers trapped, we can see that the cumulative delta is pushing higher. And so the bias is to the upside. So what we're looking for is pullbacks, looking for buy. Get above here, looking for buying. Get back down there, looking for buying. And obviously, cumulative delta is now positive at the moment. So that's where we're at. Data front, there's not a lot going on, but there is a lot going on. So what I mean by that, there's no top tier data really out today. Very quiet. But we've got a 5-year bond auction and a 2-year bond auction coming up after hours. We've also got the FOMC minutes coming out later. And on top of that, we've also got NVIDIA earnings. So, any one of those could move markets significantly. but they may not. We've also got the US administration's approach to crypto being announced at crypto Bitcoin conference at 5 o'clock UK. So what I was saying to the Forex guys earlier, I'll just repeat here just for the sake of completion. I want everyone to know that if there is a strong announcement, look for a flag kind of pattern to trade it. Okay, so if it shoots higher, then look for the pullback and the breakout and the flag. Something like, this kind of action. Strong aggressive buying, pushing all the way above those areas there. Right, pullback and then going long. That's the kind of way to look at that, and that's what you want to be doing in those kind of news announcements. That's definitely something to be looking for, as we head into the session. All right, okay. Yeah. All right. Just see a little bit of interesting here. Buyers coming in. If you look here on the tick chart, see on balance volume pushing higher, cumulative delta pushing higher, and you can see volume not that high, but an attempt at a breakout there. We'll just keep an eye on that. Probably come into this at the open when we get something clear, some kind of clear direction for us. So this area we're up at, we can watch for fading up here, and looking at it, right, delta is positive. You can see it's been positive from the overnight session. We're trying to break above that area, but we haven't had much of an acceptance up there. So what we're looking for is if there's any clear kind of rejection. At the moment, cumulative delta is still pushing higher. You can see on the 5 minute we're trying to push above these sellers here, which is positive, and here on the 1 minute you can see you're pushing above sellers here. So that's
update from the EU trade chief is to speak to US, Lutnick and Greer on Thursday. So EU agreed to speak to Greer and Lutnick every other day.
That's good. If we get a close above this area, I'm going to take that as a long. I can get buyers pushing it. I've got the on-balance volume moving up. It's a bit sideways. Let's just...
Update concerning OPEC Plus. The countries start the online meeting.
We watch out for OPEC Plus headlines as well. They're expected to increase production by 411,000 barrels per day. So that's the baseline we're expecting. Now, Jam, good man. Thank you. Was that the head and shoulders pattern you were talking about yesterday? The inverted one? Yeah. There's actually one to the upside now as well, isn't there? Oh, great, Ryan. Thank you very much for checking that. I appreciate that. Left shoulder, right shoulder, neckline. Left shoulder, right shoulder, neckline. It's trying to break out of that structure. So what we're looking for, buyers on a continuation if broken, buyers here, buyers there. We can look for a fade here. So say we get another attempt at a false break of that area, then that's good for selling. It really wants to go higher. But let's just check out that.
Politics. Israel PM Netanyahu says Hamas Gaza chief Mohammed Sinwar was eliminated, according to Israel media.
So EU Trade Commissioner Šefčovič to speak with US Commerce Secretary Lutnick and Trade Representative Greer on Thursday, and then on every other day. So that really seems that the EU is trying to fast track some kind of deal. EU in conversation with US over on tariff lines over cooperating in fields of aviation. That's basically Airbus v Boeing, isn't it? Semiconductors and steel. Right, okay. So that's a bit of a false break of that area here. We had some buyers here trying to take it higher. They couldn't. Right, now you've got a little bit of delta moving negatively. Right, let's have a little look. So we're in this region up here. So you had buyers trap those sellers there, but that's faded. And now these sellers have trapped those buyers. So you see there's a bit of a turnaround here. Very important area. 5 minute. Buyers, no one's got trapped. So we're trying to crawl away higher here. Cumulative delta is still building. Above this sort of 5941 region, that would be very positive. So it's value area high up here, you see. We're trying to have a break above it. This is where the battle's going on. I'd say sellers just about have the edge ever so slightly here, but let's see if you've got that impetus, but
Update
the
from
delta
Germany
is
does
still
provide
positive.
further military support for Ukraine, amounting to around 5 billion euros, according to the Defence Ministry.
Right, I've got 10 minutes to the open. That's a good comment from Najam. Just notice, right, you've got the value area high, which we're opening above and we're consolidating above. And you see price is trying to find a new kind of value up here, and it's building value, building price acceptance. And then if we can get above these highs here, you got a nice rally up to that R1 5960. And don't forget the daily pivot point just here. So have that set. We're watching for fading at the moment. Buyers on continuation, buyers on pullback, buyers on deep pullback. Collapse through there, then we're back into yesterday's value and we're looking like S1. Yeah, thank you, Nadia. A good reminder for us. And of course, the delta is positive on the session at the moment. Two minutes to the open. We're in the area where we're to watch for buyers. Watching for buyers at this region. We've got 1 minute to the open. On the 1 hour chart, you can see we're up at the value area high, but we're pulled back a little bit. So this is not a bad area to potentially look for buyers. Now, looking on the 15-minute chart, we have seen sellers trap buyers there, but now buyers have stepped back in, okay? And if it closes above 56937, then buyers got the edge again. Cumulative delta pushing up. 5 minute, can we push above these sellers here? That would give us a buy bias, right? We're trying to come in here, and here we go. Buyers are coming in. So let's see if we can get some on-balance volume moving, see if we can get some trap sellers and move back higher again. Right, okay, you've got buyers. Just trap those sellers there. Okay, just taking that off responsively. Now watch here, there's a difference. Look, cumulative delta is moving lower. So there are some sellers trying to come in here. What I want to look for is, can these sellers get trapped? And can we move higher here? Let's see. Bit of a divergence going on. Do you want to look for buyers, but watch out for fading here.
Update from the US Labor Department. They do rescind the 2022 crypto guidance for 401k plans. And this guidance did warn fiduciaries against including cryptocurrencies in the 401k plans.
Right. You have got delta moving lower. So a little bit of a sell bias here. See, it's all pushing lower now. Buyers trying to come back in. A bit of a mix here. And now we're prepared to go long again. See, you've got those buyers now trapping these sellers. So it's suitable to go long again on this. Delta pushing up, cumulative delta pushing up, on balance volume moving higher. Trying to see some buyers come in here. I can just move the stops up a bit. See if we can get a little shove higher here. I'm just going to move that stop up now underneath those sellers. Let's see if this can go here. Just about in there still. Cumulative delta starting to push lower, you see, okay? Right, I'm out of that. Just see that slight divergence. And now look at this, on balance volume pointing lower. Cumulative delta pointing higher, so it's a bit mixed. So let's just see what we're looking for. Remind ourselves what we're looking for. We're looking for buyers there or buyers on continuation. So now, or fading up here. Quick summary, today was clearly a day of two halves. We had a strong move higher to start the session, which we were looking to get above that area and to look for buyers to come on in. And we saw that very nice move build, and we were able to build a couple of positions into that as we went higher and just took price off as it started to weaken. Then it was a case of trying to chase into longs, looking for pullbacks, and throughout the session just trying to buy into that as soon as I saw the cumulative delta on the on balance volume moving higher. But really the slope was lower on the cumulative delta and the on balance volume, and just trying to force it a bit too much. So ended up closing the day as we've moved down to the value area low, which is strong support, and that might very well provide the support area. But the cumulative delta by this stage was negative, and I was really just chasing dip buying too much, and I should have waited much more today. So been impatient today really, and tried to chase longs. which has been a mistake, and dust myself off now and come back tomorrow. Take care, folks. Hope you have a good session and look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye for now, folks.